Time to talk some more Gulfstream Park on the championship meet as we will be looking at Saturday, January the 13th. We'll go through the card. We'll share our best bets. We're always looking for some prices here. I'm Gino Bacola, and alongside me always is my good friend Barry Spears, the sniper. Barry, buddy, how are things going for you as we record this on Thursday afternoon?
Man, doing great. The health stuff is kind of behind me for now, and the championship meet is ramping up, so I'm all excited.
We have a really fun Saturday card to discuss. There's actually no stakes, but it's still one of those excellent Gulfstream Park cards that you would expect right now. Big fields, challenging races, competitive stuff, quality throughout. So, Barry, we are looking at the Gulfstream Championship meet. Like always, we'll dive into those Gulfstream past performances from DRF. Remember, at shop.drf.com, you can get past performances and picks and clocker reports. They actually have clocker reports every day for Gulfstream and Santa Anita. So when you need help with some of these races, when it's challenging, there's some horses that there's a pedigree that you don't know much about, and all you have are some works to go off. Take as much information as you can get with these lightly raced horses. The clocker reports are going to really help you out. And I believe, Barry, you are going to help everybody out right off the bat on Saturday, right? In race number 1, you're going to get things started.
Absolutely. I tried this last week, and it almost worked out. Um, it's the same kind of race as it was last week. It's a maiden race on the synthetic, a maiden $35,000 claimer for fillies, going 5.5 furlongs on the synthetic. Um, and there's you get a lot of horses coming from a lot of different directions in a race like this because it's not a maiden special weight, and you get horses dropping down, you get horses kind of stepping up or staying at the same level, and these are the most competitive races you'll see at Gulfstream. That being said, this racer is really no world beaters, despite the 7 scored being the favorite. This horse hasn't run since September 30th. So that automatically puts me in a little bit of skepticism. I landed on number 4, Sandwedge, for the only reason that this horse is getting a makeover package completely. Getting a new rider, getting Lasix for the first time, and switching to synthetic.
Getting a class drop too.
Right, and the class drop. So there, all the elements are there. I mean, you see this horse's first race. It wasn't that bad. Um, this horse was actually bet also in that race, which was a state bred maiden special weight. So this isn't quite the biggest drop, but it's close.
Yeah, it's like a little more. It's a little more than a lateral movement. It's a drop. It's not the full one, but it's definitely it's something.
Right. Exactly. And you see this Victor Barboza Jr. has a really good he's kind of cold right now, which is probably helps this horse's price. But he's very good first time Lasix, very good synthetic, and very good when Jaramillo rides. And looking at the rest of this field, I mean, the horses that have experience haven't run all that great. Some of them are dropping down, like the 6 Problematica, who I took a long look at. Um, but that outfit it seems to be awfully cold, and if they win, they'll probably be a way bigger price than the 8-1 morning line, and isn't the most likely horse to improve too dramatically on this takedown. But Sandwedge seems to have all the elements with the makeover package to put this horse right in the thick of it. These aren't world beaters. These aren't a whole bunch of maiden special weight Todd Pletcher types in this race. In fact, Jose DeAngelo has a couple in here. And this is sort of his lane, and he has the favorite, but I'm going to go against him and try number 4 Sandwedge to kind of get it done first, right out the gate, and then see if we can put some money in our pockets.
Hopefully get you started right off the bat with a nice price, 8-1 on the morning line here in the opener Saturday, January the 13th at Gulfstream Park. A couple weeks out from the big Pegasus Day at Gulfstream Park, where they'll have. This is that time of the year now where it's sort of crazy that at this point there was supposed to be a stakes race that I think didn't fill, But it's so strange when you have a card at Gulfstream because they have so many big weekends between now and April. It's strange when you look at a card on like you do on Saturday and you see, wow, there's not even one stakes race here. Tampa has 3 on Saturday, so there'll be some Florida horses running in stakes races there at Tampa. Santa Anita will have 5 Calbred stakes races on Saturday, and then that Sunshine Sprint that was supposed to run just didn't really end up filling there. So Barry, you said your next is the 5th, fourth or fifth?
Yes, sir. Fifth.
Okay, 5th race. Okay, yeah, you take it over to the 5th, and then I'll go 6, 9, and 11. I think you said 7 and 11. You'll also have some plays. So set us up race number 5 as I get there in these DRF past performances. Remember, folks, these are the formulator ones that we're looking at. And what's nice about these, it's just so easy to navigate while you're looking. You can click on the replay, boom, it's right there. You can click on the chart, the pedigree information, trainer statistics, and then you can get a bunch of other stats up here on the top that people probably don't even realize is up here with the jockey stats, all sorts of post position stuff, tracks, record, and time. You can get anything you need. So much information here. You can go time form US or classic style. We like the formulator though, because it makes it so easy for us to look around. Where are we looking in this one, Barry?
Yeah, this is a optional claimer, 35,000, going a mile on the turf. Um, and obviously, you want to start with the morning line favorite and see where you can get this horse beat. And I think I even remarked this on one of our shows that running with scissors seems to have kind of lost a step a little bit, even though the horse runs very, very well.
Now you're
Since
8.
since like May of year, and the struggles continued with the switch to Gulfstream Park. And I don't think that trend is likely to reverse. I know this horse is probably going to take a lot of money because of the connections. You got Fernando Abreu, you got Irad Ortiz, you got 8-5 more line. Everybody's going to try to bet this horse and try to score. But I'm going to go a different direction. Based on how this race might unfold, I'm going to take number 1, Space Launch. And I think Jose D'Angelo really kind of had his eye on this horse when he claimed him back on December 28th. I mean, the horse won as the favorite with IRAD at $1.20 on the dollar, which it's a pretty big favorite. Coming off of that, you look at this horse's history. His best races probably came at closer to a mile than they have been going longer. And I think that's the whole point of this horse being in this race. I think the claim was very, very savvy. And I think they have a great opportunity to sit a good trip. Alley-oop Johnny is going to go to the lead. And I think this one's just going to park right behind it.
The claim was
Johnny
savvy,
V,
not
like we
sappy,
remarked,
right?
no, well, off savvy. It was very savvy. But that remains to be seen. Hopefully, we'll see that on Saturday. But honestly, this horse kind of slips. The post position slips this horse into a good trip.
Really good
Um,
trip. Because that how you handicap this race is the same way I looked at it, Barry. The horse who if I see the horse is actually this price or a little bit above, I might play the 7. I'm thinking that if this horse can sit third, sort of the trip that you're hoping, because he
mm,
has speed, but he's also shown that he can sit off a little bit. And since he's drawn to the outside with Saez, I'm hoping they can show a little bit. Like, look where he sat last time out at Tampa, just like that. Can he sit
yeah,
third early from the outside, just like he did last time out? I think he could get a nice trip in here. It seems like that's the trip that we're looking for. Not too far off the lead, but not right on the lead.
right, exactly. Because there's quite a bit of speed here. I mean, running with scissors could effectively go to lead, but I doubt it. But you
The
got
4's
Tatanka,
going for sure.
yep, and Alley-oop Johnny, and
Yep.
possibly the 3, the Great
Mhm.
Oz, will have to get involved a little bit early. And that left me with basically the choice between Smith's Spice, the 7, and then Space Launch. I went with a higher price,
Absolutely.
And
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 you're for sure going to get more of the trip that you think, that we hope. I don't think the one is going to get caught up on the lead, where there are versions of this race where the 7 absolutely could go or be forwardly placed. And then all of a sudden, how we're
changes.
both seeing the race, I wouldn't like him as much. That's why I want to make sure he's around 5-1, because if he gets bet a little bit, there's just too many possibilities that he doesn't get the trip I'm hoping.
Right. And honestly, this is the start of the turf pick 3. So using the 1 and 7 wouldn't really be a bad
No.
idea
And those
because
things are nice, man. Those pay
yeah,
really well.
absolutely. And you got two basically 5-1 shots that you'll zone in on and beat a favorite. I mean, when we talk about these things and especially when we speak about betting, you kind of want to look for value. You don't want to be stuck with favorites. I
Nope.
mean, the value is there, especially in a race like this. You gotta have to take a shot
Absolutely.
because if the favorite beats you, you probably don't want it anyway.
These are the horses we're hoping for that same type of trip. The inside and the outside here. We'll take some swings against the chalk as I move to race number 6 right next door. A couple of strong maiden special weight races on the card at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. The 6th race is a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds. They're sprinting in here. I'm going to look at the number 2 Bourbon Society, who's making his second start. I want to pull up his debut race. We can watch it here on the replay. So on the replay we're watching, he is the number 5 Bourbon Society. And he, at the very beginning, he gets crossed over on right off the bat. You can see he gets bumped. The horse to his inside comes out, bumps him a little. He gets crossed over on. He backs up. He settles in the 4th spot. He's about 3 lengths off early on. And then he moves to the inside, and he's not too far out of it here. I thought, he's in a nice striking spot after, but he ends up just kind of getting caught in a bad spot down to the inside, you can see. And while the horses in front of him go on with it, Change of Command is the number 3, who's just going to sit a perfect trip. Watch Change of Command move through, get the jump on him. He kind of backs up a little bit. He looks a little bit green. Keep in mind, this was also a track that was listed as good that day. So he just might not have been getting over it at all times. This 2-horse runs right by him. Now he kicks back into gear and he kind of runs up into a spot where the 4's backing up. He has to go around the 4. And it looks like the 2's got him and got at least a few lengths on him. But I like the fact that in between horses here, once the 3 draws off, he actually starts to get into a nice stride. He ends up running second in this race. Now he's beaten 6 lengths, but the horse who's out front, Barry, crushing them, is a horse named Change of Command, who comes right back to win his next start with an 83 buyer. And we see Bourbon Society kind of get into it late. He's a little bit green. I thought he ran in spots here. And now he has the benefit of that debut race under his belt. Now he's going to get hopefully a fast track. He caught a good track in his debut. He'll get Lasix for the first time. And he showed us that he doesn't have to be too far out of it. I think he can sit in a nice spot down there. I don't think he's going to get bet all that much in this race because
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
some, big horses here.
yeah, I thought that race was really good because Change of Command was really well meant. And to run against that horse at that time and then land in this spot is definitely a plus because that experience, that one race experience is probably going to do this horse a lot of good running against somebody who's pretty well met first time out and was the best of the rest. These races are tough because you don't have much to go on as far as form, but the little form that you do have with Bourbon Society seems like this is a really good play for second time out.
6-1 on the morning line for Bourbon Society, one of my Gulfstream Saturday plays here. As I believe you are in race number 7 for your next play, right, Barry?
Absolutely. This is another one I think like last week where I'm gonna go to the well again with a particular horse. I think in this spot we were one race too soon. Um, and the 7th race is a $20,000 non-winners of three going 5.5 on the synthetic. Now with these kind of races, what you'll see is speed actually kind of dominates, which is a little bit kind of opposite from what you'll see, going longer. Avidal Hero, the 5, was the horse that I picked last time, who ran on December 15th. And if you look at that race, the horse was 5 wide the whole way around. The comment in the form has him 5 path to the turn, 7 path to the lane, no bid. And that's pretty accurate. But this horse, you see that workout on January 3rd, which was very, very good and kind of atypical for what this horse has been doing, a little bit faster. The change to Luis Saez, I think, makes all of the difference here because Luis is going to get position. He's not going to be on the lead. You have Flirtini for that, the 6, and a couple of others that probably would want the lead, including the 4 might want it, and Motoring, who's another favorite here. So being on the outside is not the best thing in the world here, but I think the positioning that Luis Saez is going to want is probably where you're going to, probably be optimal because like I remarked before, this horse ran 3 pretty good races at the same distance back early 2023. I just think on the, the slight drop and getting this horse a different rider who will probably get better positioning makes all the difference. 15-1 seems like a stretch. I would
Just
think
with
this horse is
Saez
probably going to
already,
get bet
right?
down to half that. Right, exactly. And the connections. I mean, Preciado wins a lot of races around the country,
Yeah.
like almost everywhere, especially in the Mid-Atlantic. And he does okay at Gulfstream, and he does okay with Luis Saez. He doesn't ride him much, but they're 1 for 4 with a $3 ROI, which that's not bad. So whatever horse that he won with was a pretty decent price, and I think you're going to get a decent price on Avidal Hero based on that last trip. Um, but I think this horse is more prepared to win now.
Avidal Hero 15-1 in race number 7 for Barry. I'm going to take the baton and move to race number 9. There's a horse in race number 8 as we just sort of cross over it quickly. He's a little lower than we mentioned, but I'm going to throw in Typhoon Fury. Some of my exotics. If you like to watch replays, go back and watch his race last time out. Had some legitimate trouble in that one. I think he fits really well in that spot. He scratched out of a race last weekend, I believe, and he's pretty live there. But the one who I do want to mention is a big price in race number 9. This horse is actually 15-1 on the morning line. This is another one, Barry. I'll be a little surprised if he's this price, but I think he's probably going to be between 6 and 10-1. And that's probably where he should be. That's the number 10, Goes the Clown. This is another horse I want to watch the replay because he's only raced one time. And I thought it was an educational debut where he could gain a lot out of it. He's the number 7 in the race we're going to watch. And he's going to break right with the leaders. He's actually on top right here. So the problem is 5 horses to his inside all want to go to the lead. So he has to take back. Otherwise, he's just going to be parked. So they try to take back with him. And look at where he is in the head on right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 6 paths over this horse. And this is in his career debut. And he actually was right on the lead. But and it's not even that it was a bad decision. You just sort of see how the decision changes what could have happened. They didn't want to be way, way out there and try to probably burn this horse up in his career debut. So instead, you end up getting hooked really wide and you don't really have a chance here. And now he ends up actually running pretty well in this race because even with this really wide trip, he drops back. And with this kind of a trip, right here, he's 3rd, moving into the contention slightly, and then it'll look like he's done. Right about here, when the horse on the outside passes him, you feel like, okay, this horse has got to be done. But watch Goes the Clown now, how he kind of comes back on again. He's green. He tips to the outside of the horse who just ran right by him. And now he's making a 4 wide bid right back up into contention. He's still really, really wide. Now this horse comes out and bumps him a little bit here. He's right back up to within about a length. And he ends up finishing a really good third in here, Barry. He's still on the outside battling. These horses from behind, they have a little bit more momentum, and they didn't have to get hooked as wide as he did. I thought this was a really nice effort from him in that race.
Oh,
And
sure.
he didn't get a huge speed figure, and that may be a reason why he doesn't get bet a whole ton in here, because some of these other horses have gotten better speed figures in their debut, and they come from big barns and big purchase prices. I do think he'll be a fair price in here.
Yeah, I also think so. And you know what that's a sign of, especially in a maiden race, is that the horse is figuring it out. May have figured it out in the middle of that race. Um,
When
and
to
if you're keeping,
respond to your jockey, right? When the jockey says, now let's go. Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Little things like that, the cues that they're
Mhm.
learning first time they're out on the track. It's not easy to debut at 6.5 either. It's kind of a little tricky, but it does give you more foundation when you move to the mile, in the 1 turn mile right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all the elements are there. I like the way the horse kind of figured it out in the middle of the race, and it can only kind of springboard that to bigger and better things. You know, this horse is going to improve this next start no matter what. It's just a matter of how much and if the horse can get to the winner's circle. But if you're keeping track, everybody out there, Louis Saez should have a great day Saturday.
Yep. He's on all the horses that we like. He's on every one. So come on, Luis. Let's get a big one on Saturday. We both will close out in the 11th. But as we just go to the 11th, race number 10 is in the that coast to coast pick 5 on Saturday. They're going to have those now every Saturday and Sunday. And those wagers are great because with the $1, they're difficult. $1 minimum and a 15% low takeout. And they carry over if nobody hits it. And on the first day, it carried over. And I was very frustrated because I had 4 out of 5 and a second in the one race that I missed. So it is a really fun
Oh,
bet, and it's good. Good. If you're looking at each weekend, it's one of those bets that I think you should make as part of your bankroll to take a swing at, because it's worth it. Low takeout, low minute, like no carryovers. I mean, there are carryovers, so no 4 out of 5 payments. So it's always going to be nice and juicy payouts. I just wanted to mention that this outside horse is going to take a ton of money in here, socially selective. And she looks nice on paper, and I have no knocks on her races. But just keep in mind, she's going to be coming off a long layoff. She's going to take a ton of money, and we're going to have to see her go 6.5 for the first time. And we don't even really know if she can pass horses. She's only been really right on the lead and never won coming off the pace. And there might be some other speed in here as well to make things a little difficult on her. For sure, a horse like American, of course, is going to go. Wouldn't be shocked to see Sandra D with the inside have to get a little aggressive. Shopping for Pharaoh shown speed in some races. We've seen Take Charge Chloe show speed. Lots of horses in this race can show speed. So she would be a horse in this race, or in that sequence, Barry, where if you can beat her, that pick 5 will pay very, very well, because a lot of people will probably be singling her. On paper, she does look tough, and maybe she comes back bigger and better than she was before, but she will be an awfully short price in here.
yeah, you touched on something that I really, thought about when looking at this race is that socially selective is not going to get the run of the race like she did their first two starts. And I'm thinking that the other horses in here, the ones that have show speed, are probably faster. And the fact that you said, like you said, you really don't know if this horse can pass horses. And I'm willing to bet against that in this race. It- I mean, there's a ton of speed in here, and I think horses like
I like
Euphema
that's the horse who I
probably
like.
has a better
Yep,
shot than
absolutely.
what we're seeing. And my thought is that horse might yeah, that horse might be probably second choice, and
Yep.
we'll probably get a good trip.
Absolutely. And if you look at her, she's a 6-year-old mare who's only raced 4 times. She had the big gap of almost 2 years. So she's obviously had some physical issues along the way. She's a horse who's still rounding back into form. She's got some upside even at 6 because she hasn't been out there on the track very often and she's still building up fitness right now. I thought her last race was pretty good. It's a little bit deceiving, just the running line here. She got beat out of a spot early and then she was in tight. She had to back off and angle around really wide. She was a clear-cut second that day, and the winner, Juliet's Rose, was a gate-to-wire winner, earned an 85 Beyer speed figure in winning. So if they go quick, I think she's the one that will benefit.
Honestly, I was gonna say, honestly, this looks like a lone closer situation with the 5.
It does.
Everybody else kind of wants to be up front, and they want to go and up all those pieces. I mean, the only other horse that I could see maybe kind of coming off the pace is the huge long shot, the 6, drum roll. But other than that, everybody's
Me
gonna
too.
look to try to go here, and it should be an interesting race. I definitely don't like the favorite, so have at it.
So let's finish things out in race number 11, my friend. Talk to us about this one. It is a 5 furlong turf sprint to close out the Saturday card.
Kind of like my bread and butter. And I do well with these turf sprints. It's a lot of the times I center a lot of my bets around races like this because of the fact that you can get prices. People don't like these races. They shy away from them, or they totally misread how it's going to play out. That being said, I'm going to throw one downfield here and go with number 3, David's Rose,
No
for a
way. We're on the
multitude
same
of
horse.
reasons.
We're on the same
Um,
one. Wow.
nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Go ahead. Start
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about
this horse has
David.
been running it better. He's been running with better horses. She's been running with better horses since day one. I mean, you look at the body of work, and she's okay. Her turf races at 5 have been getting better. I know she didn't show it last time, but we can forgive that effort first time off the bench, and it was on January 1st. So,
So,
um,
and her last two,
I
so she's
just
only
think,
raced on the turf 4 times,
yeah,
and her last two, she's lost to lone speed winners. And I don't think,
right.
I like her in this spot because of her versatility, because she can sit off a little and she can pass horses, but she's also got some tactical speed. And here I'm looking at the way this race shapes up with Bossy Diva, probably with 3 Polks. You have Ivory Moon.
Hmm.
You have to the outside, Yamar for sure. Horses like Call Me Spicy and My Lady James might have to be more forwardly placed from out there. I think they're going to be going early.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a dash for the front, and this one's going to be the beneficiary of it. Uh, Not only this race so happens to be taken off the turf, that is not a bad thing either for this horse, and that's the other reason why I like this horse, because if it gets taken off, I would say they would probably hang in there and take a shot. Probably won't get that 20 to 1 if that does happen, but man, this horse is setting up to get the trip of a lifetime here, and I want to be there at 20 to 1, even if it's half that, even at 10 to 1, I'm
Yep.
still okay with it.
Second off the 3+ month break, she can stay close enough to pass horses at 5 furlongs. We've seen her do it, so we know she can get this trip. She won at 5 furlongs on the synthetic. 3 starts back. She has a win at 5 on the turf. Um, as we mentioned, Alvarado was aboard that day. So the last time he was aboard was a win. She took a shot against Better in the last really couple races. And so if you just eliminate those two, the race that sent her to the bench for a few months and the race coming off the bench when she faced a tough group and a horse who just broke from the outside and went wire to wire that day, she comes back quickly because she didn't really have to do a whole lot in that race. It was sort of like a workout for her. Kind of get the rust off, and now she should be a little
Right, and
sharper.
yep,
So for
yeah, all the elements are
the
there. I do think this horse is going to get bet a little bit though. Um, But we'll see. I mean, stranger things have happened, and we might get our price.
Well, the fans of the TV show, I'm not saying a bad word here, the TV show Schitt's Creek will be out in full force with the "Ew, David" memes, because that's David Rose, I believe, from the TV show, which was a very good show there.
Yes.
And I hear that quite a bit because Stephanie, my significant other, loves that show. My sister, my mom, they'll always do the "Ew, David" anytime I say or do anything gross. So I get that one quite a bit. David's Rose, a big price for me and Barry to close out the Saturday card at Gulfstream Park. We covered a lot of ground in just a short time on this one, so hopefully we can help lead you to a few winners on Saturday. Barry, talk to everybody about going in circles, big Mondays with Chuck, everything you guys have going on. It's a great weekly horse racing, get the pulse of everything going on, what's been the news, what's been happening, who said something stupid last week, one of those kind of shows.
Yeah, we're trying to do a new approach for 2024. We're gonna have more guests on. Hopefully, we can get Gino on if he has some
Oh,
time for us. But
absolutely. Anytime, man.
we're gonna try to get more. All right. Well, we'll have to set something up, but we're gonna have more guests on this year and talk about more, expansive topics, especially, more betting and actual horse racing stuff on the track. Obviously, we're still gonna be conscious of what's going on in the industry, across the board, which is always a great topic, and things are looking up. We got involved a little bit with the game of silks. Um, we'll be doing some stuff, spaces for that, and some things here and there. So look out for that. And then our website, we're still gonna start ramping things up. I know Chuck has some writing that he wants to do and put out there. So definitely keep an eye out for all that. But things are looking up for 2024 for sure.
Thanks everyone also for tuning in. We've seen a lot of new viewers and listeners coming over the last few weeks, and hopefully we've been leading you to some winners here and there. Barry joins me each and every week for it's been Gulfstream now, but if there are big races somewhere else, we'll dive in. Sometimes Santa Anita, Oaklawn Park, Tampa, they'll have some big days coming up in the next few months, and we'll be here talking about them, diving into those daily racing
Keeneland in
form
the
past.
spring.
Yeah, Keeneland in the spring, and that's crazy how quick time moves. It's not far away because you always know that means getting close to the Derby, and we're on the road to the Derby right now. The Gulfstream Championship meet will have a couple more Derby preps over the next few months. Anything you need when you're handicapping those races, DRF has you covered with past performances, DRF picks, clocker reports. Mike Welsh covers Gulfstream Park, as well as some of the others that help out with news, with analysis, with race recaps, with race previews, everything you need there. Remember, if you're also playing the races and you come across a race of a bunch of first-time starters and you don't have a whole lot to go off of, or maybe a few horses that are coming off of long layoffs and you're curious how they're doing coming into the race, those clocker reports will be a big help for you. And you know who is a big help for me? My friend Barry Spears, who's always helping me out and always joining me to try to share some knowledge with all of you out there and try to lead you to a few winners. Barry, buddy, let's have a fantastic weekend. I hope you crush it, my friend. Thank you too. Barry's such a nice guy. I got a present from Barry for my family and for Christmas. That's what we say. We get mushy sometimes, but man, it's been a great couple years. We've had a great relationship, a great friendship back and forth, and some of the highlight of my week is always the time we sit down and talk some races. So hope we have another good weekend, my friend. Let's crush it.
Let's kill it. We got to get rid of this second-itis, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna break out. Maybe it's this weekend.
Yeah, and we got a few big prices there. So good luck, everyone. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you need more help playing the races this weekend, right now I'm always looking at Santa Anita for every day they race. So I'll always have videos of Santa Anita, and I'll have segments on my podcast as well if you want to play the races over there. And then for Gulfstream Park, we'll always be looking at least Saturday. So hope we can help you out. And Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. As we say goodbye, we say hello. Joey Cleveland, take us out, my friend, with that rock version of the call to post.